Hey, it's Carrie from Lovely Etc. and today I'm going to show you how to make a really cheap but beautiful Christmas tree collar. So I'm a huge fan of putting a Christmas tree collar under my tree at Christmas. I have one that I bought several years ago, but this year for the first time I have two Christmas trees. So I wanted to try my hand at making a DIY Christmas tree collar. So I went into this project with a few goals in mind. One, I wanted it to look really beautiful and not like just a cheesy Christmas craft. Two, I wanted it to be super cheap because as much as I love making things, if I could just buy the same thing and it would cost the same amount, what's the point of that? And three, I wanted it to be really easy to put under the Christmas tree and store. So we're talking functional. The Christmas tree collar I have is one of the kind that does not come apart or fold up in any way. It's just one huge ring that goes around the tree. And to be honest, it's a huge pain putting it on the tree every year and it takes up a ton of room in storage. So I do not want to do more of that. So I came up with a design that is made primarily from cardstock and cardboard, and I realized that sounds like it's probably gonna be one of those tacky Christmas crafts, but I promise it actually looks really good. And it was super cheap. If you have any kind of basic craft supplies on hand, the things you're gonna need for this cost less than 10 bucks, and even if you have to buy absolutely everything new, it's still cheaper than buying just a basic Christmas tree collar at the store. So I consider that a win. As I was perusing all the different options that are available online to kind of get my gears turning, I came across this really beautiful and unique Christmas tree collar that is available from Balsam Hill. And it is made of really beautiful antiqued mirror with kind of a gold frame, and it looks beautiful, but there's always a downside. It costs $400, which I don't even know what to say about that. I can't imagine spending, honestly, yeah. So clearly I'm not spending $400 on a Christmas tree collar. And instead, I used that as my inspiration for my less than $10 collar. Now I'm gonna say right now, I am not in any way trying to compare this cardboard Christmas tree collar I have made to the beautiful $400 one from Balsam Hill. That was the inspiration, and I do think there are some similarities in how the finished products look, but that one is made from actual mirror and brass and sturdy, long-lasting materials, and mine is made from paper and cardboard. So I am not in any way trying to claim that I have recreated something that was $400 for $10. It's not the same thing, but it looks beautiful and you can make it yourself really cheap, and what more could you want? So to make this, you are going to need cardstock. The cardstock is going to be what's really showing at the end, and I actually ended up making two versions of my collar. One that was inspired by the Balsam Hill Christmas tree collar I was talking about, and one that was inspired by the gold Christmas tree star that I shared last week. So I'm going to show you how to make both versions. The two versions are basically the exact same thing, but one starts with silver foil cardstock and the other starts with gold foil cardstock. So this Christmas tree collar is going to be made from a whole bunch of trapezoids connected together to give it that round and slanted shape. At first I thought maybe I would just cut one big piece and make one huge circular thing, but then I realized that's not very sturdy. It's really hard to get the right curve, and it just wasn't a great idea. So instead, we are starting with all these trapezoids, and I have all the measurements and written instructions, everything you could possibly need over at my website, Lovely Etc. I'll link that, and then I'll also link up all the materials down in the video description. So you're going to cut your cardstock into the correct shape. If you have a paper cutter, it makes it so much faster, but scissors work just fine too. Depending on what size Christmas tree you have and how big the stand is will determine how big you want to make your Christmas tree collar. If you're making a small tree collar, which would be about 24 inches wide at the widest part, you will need 9 of these. If you are making a medium-sized one, which is around 27 inches in diameter, you will need 10. And if you're making a large, which is around 30 inches wide, you will need 11. Okay, so let's talk about getting this great antiqued mirror or antique gold finish. You can skip all this step if you're fine with just the gold foil or the silver foil, which honestly is totally fine. I tried a whole bunch of different ways to get an antique mirror finish, and in the end, I'm really happy with what I came up with. I used 3 different colors of craft paint. One was just a black, one was silver, and then the third was a champagne gold. The champagne gold you could really get away with skipping for this antique mirror finish. I just thought I'd add a little something, and I already had it on hand. The most important thing is you want to apply your paint using sea sponges. You're just gonna pour a little bit of each color of paint onto a paper plate or a paint palette, and then dab your sea sponge onto one of the colors, blot off the extra onto your paper plate or a paper towel, and then just gently dab it all around your cardstock, kind of randomly. Then immediately, without giving it a chance to dry, get a clean piece of sea sponge, do the same thing with the silver paint all over. You can be really liberal with the silver paint. It kind of mellows out the black and just gives that cloudy, antique-y look. And then finally, I followed up with just a tiny bit of the champagne gold paint on a clean sea sponge. And I think in the end, it really gives that great antique mirror finish. I'm pretty proud of it. Now for the gold, I am doing the same antique gold finish I used on my Christmas tree star, and it's a bit simpler. All you need is your gold foil and then some champagne gold craft paint and some bronze craft paint. And you don't have to use a sea sponge for this. You probably could and it would look cool, but I just used a chip brush and just kind of dabbed paint all over the gold foil, starting with the champagne gold and then immediately following with the brushed bronze. And I think it just gives a really great aged brass kind of finish. Once you've cut out all your cardstock, the next step is to go grab some of the boxes you probably have piled up in your garage like I do. You're just gonna trace around your cardstock and cut out the same number of shapes from cardboard that you just cut out from cardstock. The cardboard is gonna be the foundation of your stand, and it's what's gonna give it some stability and make it sturdy. Next, you're gonna glue the cardstock directly onto your cardboard shapes. I just use a simple glue stick, but any glue that will connect paper to paper is going to work. You don't have to get anything fancy here. You might find that as you're gluing your pieces on, there's little bits here and there of cardboard that are poking out because nobody cuts perfectly. If so, just trim those off so that you don't see any cardboard. Next, we're going to use metallic washi tape just to make a border around the edge of each piece. So this serves kind of a couple of purposes. One, it kind of gives more of a finished look, but two, it helps really make sure that the cardstock is well adhered to the cardboard and seals off all the messy edges. So if you're looking down from above or from the side, if any shows, you're gonna see nice clean tape instead of scraggly cardboard. All right, we're almost done. I will say that demonstrating this is super fast, but actually doing it took a lot longer than I would have liked because you are doing each step multiple times. 9, 10, 11 times, and each of those little things adds up. So this is a great project to do in front of one of your favorite TV shows or Christmas movies because otherwise it can feel kind of draggy. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is just connect all of our trapezoids together so that it forms a collar. So we're going back to basics with this and we're using good old duct tape. And all you need to do is take 2 of your trapezoids, put them together, just make sure that they fit really well and nothing went wonky as you were making it. If they look good, turn them over. Hold one at a slight angle because when you put your tree collar together, each of these sections is going to be bending a little bit to slowly form the circle. So hold your 2 pieces at a slight angle and just duct tape them together. That's it. And then continue doing this. Duct tape all of your pieces together so that they are in a straight line. Okay, I have connected all of my panels together and it's finished and it looks great. So as you can see, I left the final connection to bring it into a circle undone, and that is so that you can easily slide it around your Christmas tree and also so that it's easy to pack up after Christmas. So when you're done with it for the year, you can just fold it right up. It folds up nice and flat and you can pack it away easily in your boxes, and I love that. All right, now I'm ready to see how this looks under the tree. Like I said, I'm really proud of this antique mirror finish. I think it looks really realistic. Now, of course, if you get down on the floor and look at it way up close, it doesn't look like a mirror, it looks like a painted finish. But that would be a really weird thing to do to a Christmas tree. And from a few feet away, it looks amazing. And here is the gold finish. I've only finished about half of this one so far, so I'm just gonna kind of stick it in place, but you get the idea. I think it's beautiful, and honestly, I'm not exactly sure which one I like best. I'm kind of leaning towards the gold, possibly. I like how it echoes the gold of the star on top, but I'm really thrilled with how both turned out, and I absolutely do not think that anybody would come upon these and think, oh look, there's a bunch of paper and cardboard and duct tape around their Christmas tree. They look fabulous. I love how this project turned out. It was really cheap, a little bit time consuming, but easy, and it turned out so beautiful. I always love finding a really inexpensive way to make something beautiful, and Christmas projects are definitely some of my favorites. If you haven't, I'd love you to subscribe to my channel, Lovely Etc., where I share lots of inexpensive DIY ideas for creating a home that you love and decorating for Christmas. See you next time.